at BDO Namibia. Currently working, performing the rollout of Xero throughout our organization and with a lot of our clients. This is a follow-up session to the session that we had, I think it was June last year, whereby we dealt with, sort of the conversion of your current set of accounts to an online online platform, namely Xero. So today, if there's any topics that you would like me to possibly deal with that we dealt with in the previous one, we can leave that sort of to the end. And if we've got time, then we can deal with that. If there's a great need for it, then we can perhaps roll that other session out again. I see there's a Timo Trading is trying to message me. I don't know. Nicole, did you take that message? Someone put their hand up. Okay, maybe they put their hand down. Okay, great. So I'm going to do a very quick introduction to what Xero is and just give you a little video just to familiarize ourselves with it. At the moment, we have converted, BDO Namibia has 1, 2, 3, 4 offices, and we've successfully converted at least 3 of those to an online accounting platform. I am also a Pastel certified installer and trainer, and there are circumstances where Pastel might work better than Xero, but certainly if you've got a good internet connection, which most of us have these days, it doesn't even need to be a good internet connection, it can be an adequate internet connection, then Xero is something to consider, especially when you look at all of the add-ons that Xero has. For example, HubDoc and Vend. I know a lot of our clients are using a program called iKentu for point of sales. So once you do that, then there is the possibility to actually convert your entire accounting process into the cloud. So let's start off with, I'm going to share my screen and we can just start off with a little introductory video that I showed previously, just so that we can rest and relax and get into this particular session. Right. Oh, maybe before that, we should just have a look at what the session will entail today. So we're gonna, I've done a little intro with you, and we're going to look at the video. We'll have a quick recheck of the benefits of Xero, and we'll look at the features of Xero again, just so that, but I'm going to not spend too much time on that because we did that in the previous session. And then I'm going to have a look at customizing your experience. I'm going to do a demonstration on that, and then I'm going to look at reporting and how you can actually customize your reporting, what the reporting is all about, and how, in particular, as your accountants, we can assist you. So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into that, and then also we'll look at updating update on the price of Xero. There was a little bit of a price after a 3 or 4 year. Well, they didn't have a price increase. It's the first one that I've experienced in the last 3 years. And then we'll leave a questions and answer session for everyone. Okay, so let's just start off with our video. Nicole, you can still see and hear everything? Just checking.
Hi, Warren. I can see the slides and your screen, and I can see you and hear you perfectly.
Great, and here comes the video.
Xero is designed so you can quickly and easily start doing business today while taking the time you need to set up your account correctly. Start with connecting bank feeds for your bank account. It's an easy task that only takes a few minutes, but the benefits are huge. Because your bank statement lines are brought into Xero automatically, it's practically effortless to keep your accounts accurate and up to date. Next, add your organization details and customize your invoices by simply uploading your business logo. Add a payment service to enable your customers to easily pay your invoices online, by just clicking Pay Now. These are simple items to set up and won't take too long. You can now start processing transactions and invoicing your customers anywhere, anytime, and you're in business. Once you're up and running, it's time to customize the chart of accounts to get your accounting right going forward. A few simple changes to the default chart to suit your business may be all you need. If you're importing a chart of accounts from your old system, you'll want to set aside some extra time to do this. Lucky for you, we provide tools to take the pain out of this process. You can import your chart along with opening balances straight into Xero using the template provided. And don't forget, wherever you are in Xero, help is never too far away. Do you have an existing list of customers and suppliers? You can import those into Xero too. If you have an accountant or bookkeeper, Xero enables you to collaborate with them to grow your business. If you're looking for one, you'll find plenty of Xero certified advisors at xero.com/advisors. And check out the Xero app marketplace if you have more complex needs for your industry-specific business, like farming, hairdressing, manufacturing, and more. To learn more, you can check out Xero TV. There you'll find short videos on how to set up and get the best out of the features. Welcome to Xero. It's a pleasure doing business.
Great. Okay. So that was just a very quick introduction to, I just need to stop this, otherwise it will play all of the videos.
Welcome to Xero. It's great to have you on.
Okay, good. Great. So that was just a very quick introduction to Xero, and Xero accounting, the conversion that happens from whatever your existing set of accounts are, whether it be Pastel Payroll, or QuickBooks, or you might be using something like SAP or Sage Evolution. The conversion to an online accounting system is not that difficult. I've had instances where non-accountants have had Excel spreadsheets and have quite easily converted from their Excel spreadsheets into Xero. So that is one of the advantages of running Xero, is that it's actually designed almost for non-accountants. So it enables the owner or owners of a business to actually run their accounting in a friendly accounting environment, yet still have the accounting integrity that the accountants would need to produce a set of financial statements, etc. So that was just a short introduction to Xero, and the next we're going to have a look at is just some of the benefits. If we have a look at some of the benefits in detail, we've got real-time and mobile. So Xero gives you a real-time view of your cash flow. You can manage purchases, orders, expenses, bills, and employee payments from your iPhone, iPad, Android device, laptop, and desktop. So I'm literally running my set of accounts from my iPhone, and you can also access it on your iPad. So you can basically access it with your email username from any device. You could go to an internet cafe and essentially log into your Xero set of accounts and carry on processing them. Up to date, so Xero is automatically updated every 3 to 6 weeks to reflect changes in tax rates and provide you with new features at no extra charge. Obviously, it being an online cloud accounting platform, they simply need to change the platform, and when you log in, those changes would be represented for every user. So gone are the days where a new patch comes out or a new upgrade comes out, and you first have to make an appointment with your reseller or your IT guys to come and upload the patches, and then some of the patches don't work. The patches are simply loaded on the cloud platform and become accessible to everyone immediately. Saves time, so you can save time with easy uploading of bank statements, invoice, and credit card transactions. At the moment, Xero, well, none of our banks offer a sort of real-time bank interface, what they would call a bank feed. we are working closely with two of the banks in Namibia to actually allow that. One of the banks actually went quite public. Well, I saw one or two of their ads. That was Nedbank in South Africa that they partnered with Xero and had offered an automatic bank feed into Xero. I have discussed it with Nedbank here, and we are in the process of hopefully trying to get something like that done. But basically, if you had automatic bank feeds, you would give your login details through a secure connection into your bank through Xero. And every morning that you arrive at work, your bank transactions of the previous day would be uploaded into your set of accounts. Currently, all of my clients are manually importing them. So, for example, I know that Bank Windhoek's exported file imports perfectly into Xero. And most of the banks have got various kinds of export files, whether they be OFX, CSV, or in Excel. We can then take that and we can simply import the bank statements with very little manipulation. We can import the bank statements into Xero. And Xero is very bank-centric, so it's important that the bank transactions are imported on a very regular basis. The more regular you do it, the more your books are up to date. Secure, so the next point is secure. Xero securely stores your data online using internet banking level security, two-factor authentication. The two-factor authentication became mandatory late last year, if I remember correctly. And basically, it adds a second layer of security into your logins, so that not just anyone is accessing your information. In most instances, I think my clients are using the Xero Verify app. So when you log in, instead of just putting in your password and going OK and having access to your books, it will throw a confirmation out on your phone, or it can send you an email saying, is this you accessing it, or alternatively giving you a code, which then is only valid for like 2 or 3 minutes. You put the code in, or you say, yes, this is me on your phone, and then you're granted access to Xero. So security needs to be important, needs to be dealt with, especially in today's environment where we hear these scary stories of people being hacked. Collaborative, you and your accountant can look at the same information at the same time, helping you to work together to make informed business decisions. So I think that is where BDO really are converting and changing and revolutionizing the way that we deal with our clients. So processing, we don't want to be processors. We will process your books, obviously, if you want to. But why can those transactions not be processed real time? So we need to change the way we're thinking. In other words, if I'm going to do a sales invoice, then the person who does the sales invoice should be able to do it quite easily and effectively, so that I don't need to go and reprocess it. So I don't need you to go and write out a manual in sales invoice, which I'm then going to recapture. Do the sales invoice from your phone or your iPad or wherever, and then it's done and it's in your books. So the collaborative way that we're changing the way that we deal with clients is we're saying to them, listen, everyone, obviously when you get a Xero account or you open up your business on Xero, you get unlimited users. So we say add in your sales clerk, add in your purchases clerk, add in the directors if need be. If they are involved in the source transactions of a particular like, for example, a sale, add them in, let them do the sales. We train them up to do the sales. So when the books get to, when we look at the books, all of those transactions are already done. Don't do them first manually in a book. The BDO must process them at a cost. Do them yourselves. We can check them, and if need be, we can make changes and we can make corrections. But we're sort of empowering the clients to do their own accounting in in effect because it is easy to do. So we've had to then change our relationship with our clients. So we can't now just be processors, accounting processors for the client. We need to become business advisors. So we look and we check and we make sure that sales are coming in correctly. We make sure that your bank account is being reconciled on a regular basis. We make sure that your purchase orders are eventually being converted into purchase notes. That your orders, how many orders are outside. So we can see all of this information, and based on that, we can rather give you advice on how to change your business. Maybe we can see that sales are dipping, and we'll phone you and say, listen, why are your sales dipping at the moment? Or why didn't you charge VAT on that particular sales invoice? So it's become a much more collaborative relationship between the accountant and the client. So we can talk a little bit more about the collaborative effect, and we will with the reporting in a couple of moments. Over 500 add-ons, as I said, I mentioned HubDoc obviously comes free with the Xero subscription. Added to that, we also have things like Vend, iKento, there's Dear Inventory. So there are over 500 add-on products that automatically and quite easily integrate into your Xero accounting package. So that your Xero still remains the place where you would print your financial statements, your trial balances, your debtors and creditors lists, but you can add on other features. So let's say you've got a particularly intricate inventory system, you could then perhaps go and have a look at Dear accounting. And I can just show you, for example, very quickly what they are. So if we go to the Xero Marketplace, Xero Marketplace, so I'm just going to quickly, let's rather take one that's, well, we can just quickly have a look here. So you've got all sorts of different add-on products. They're different marketplaces for different spots around the world. I just want to make sure that no one's asking any questions. Okay, but you've got SIFT, for example, that is a practice manager reporting tool. You've got debtors tracking, you've got invoicing and job service M8, Dear Inventory, like I said, as an ecosystem staff picks app and small business app of the year. It's the #1 choice for business that want to manage all products, customers, suppliers, contacts, purchases. You've got Approval Max that adds like different layers of approvals in it. You've got Workflow Max where you can set up workflows. You've got integrations into PayPal. I know PayPal is not yet legal in Namibia, but hopefully in due course it will be. Square, I think plays like Namibian PayBuddy, I think, is writing or has written a Xero integration, so you can actually link up with PayPal. PayBuddy, I think, is our version, but you can actually go in and have a look at all different kinds of. Let's go and look at retail. And it would be simple as signing up for this particular service. You then go into that service, and that service on their integration page will say, do you have a Xero as your accounting system? You say yes. It says, okay, we'll log in with your details, and we'll just link it up directly with your accounting system. So generally, there's very, very, very little knowledge required to integrate these platforms into your existing Xero platform. And obviously, Dear Inventory, for example, got a whole different set of user access rights and how can I say, access points. So, but it is still all online in the cloud and easy to use. people who have access, for example, in Dear Inventory don't necessarily need to have access in your Xero set of accounts. Vend was another one that I think Vend is quite popular in Cape Town. I've seen a couple of people use Vend on their iPads. Shopify, there's a whole bunch of them here. So you can actually go in and find the correct app for you. Okay, helpful. Xero provides extensive online help forums and unlimited email-based support. So I think one of the important places to have a look at, and I just want to get there quickly for you, is I'm just going to quickly log into my Xero and show you. So if you do have a look at the Xero app, you will see that, for example, if I go into the help function here, I think I might be pushing our internet. I certainly hope everything is still good on that side. I'll actually go to Xero Central. Xero Central is sort of kind of the place where you would ask any questions and potentially where you can also study and attend some of the Xero courses. So you'll see the supporting function here, and there's also a Xero Learning. You can browse those topics. You can do courses by topics. And obviously, once you've logged into Xero Learning, you get little badges, and it recognizes the fact that you've actually done the courses. So you can actually see that I've done a couple of courses that are in progress, and you can basically train yourself. But I must say to you that the support function is very good. You won't necessarily get the support directly from me, but you can. But I, for example, one evening did a support call when I was first learning Xero at 11 o'clock in the evening, or 11:15. By 11:05, someone had said to me, listen, please invite me into your books. I invited them in, they had a look, and they said, no, Warren, you're pulling the report out incorrectly. And then please uninvite me, or please throw me out of your set of accounts, which I did subsequently. So someone in the world, and because we're dealing with an international product, someone in the world is awake and someone in the world is willing to assist you. Obviously, BDO are also there to assist. And at the moment, I think we've got in excess of 30 qualified Xero practitioners within our 4 offices. So we're always there to help if we can. Right, going back to our benefits of Xero, helpful, obviously, I think is self-explanatory. Trusted by more than 1 million customers across the world. Xero has taken off extensively. We've managed to become gold partners with Xero through our affiliation with, obviously, BDO International, but I can quite clearly tell you that in the Southern Hemisphere, certainly from an African and Australasian perspective, Xero is the accounting product of choice. And it's mainly because of the integration and the collaboration that we can have with our clients. Also, the Xero application or platform is very sort of it's not very resource intensive. In other words, you don't need to have the fastest machine. You don't, that's also something that always bothers me. The minute they upgrade a program, you know, the next thing they say to you is, no, your machine that you bought 2 years ago is not going to work anymore. You know, it's going to be so slow. This already depends on your internet connectivity. Obviously, there is some hardware compatibility issues. If you can't upgrade your browser or something like that, but generally it works on any machine as long as it's got internet, Android or Mac. Okay, I think Was that a question? I don't know. Shall we quickly have a no? Right. Okay. So looking at the benefits, we'll just go. The next thing I want to quickly have a look at is the features of Xero. And for that, I'm actually going to swap over to the website. Just having a look at some of the features again. As I said, I don't want to get too involved in this. I don't want to spend 2 hours going through it. I'd rather spend the time showing you the program. So if you have a look at some of the features, send invoicing is absolutely seamless on this program. Even sending quotes and controlling your quotes. So you can simply send your invoices directly to your clients. You can send quotes to your clients. You can set deadlines for your quotes. If that quote exceeds the deadline, the client cannot accept the quote. If the client accepts it, you get a notification. You can convert that quote directly to an invoice. And all of that you can actually do from your phone. And there's so many applications where that actually becomes quite an interesting scenario. So I've thrown that scenario out to a couple of clients and said, well, you know what? While you're consulting with the client, you can actually be on your phone doing a quote. And then they were like, oh, really? And then I said, and if the client then, once you've done the quote, you can email it to him. He should be able to see it immediately. He can accept it. And you'll be notified. You can then convert that quote directly into an invoice and invoice the client before it actually left their premises. So that's how collaborative this can be. Sending invoices and controlling invoices is absolutely seamless. Also, you can send automatic reminders for invoices that have not been paid yet. So, for example, I can set it to be, maybe I should quickly go into my demo company here just to show you. So, for example, in my on my business invoices, I can quite easily set reminders. So let's go back to our invoices. Invoice reminders are off here, but I can actually turn my invoice reminders on and have the ability to email my customers automatically. So I don't need to think about it. If the invoice has not been marked as paid, it will send the invoice out, and it will keep a history of that for you too. So you can see exactly how many times it emailed it, what email address it emailed it to. So the control that you've got there is quite impressive. Right, we'll just go back to Invoice Settings. We carry on looking at the features, the bank reconciliation. I demoed that in the previous session. The bank reconciliation is almost like playing a game. It is so easy. As the books are bank centric, most of the bank transactions are all imported into the account, and you need to find matching transactions, or you need to allocate the transactions. But it is very intuitive program in the sense that if there is an invoice outstanding with a specific amount, and Xero is able to pick up that transaction is unique, then it will automatically mark the transaction green and make a suggestion for you. So, for example, here on our bank Recon, this side is the imported bank statement, and this side is the transactions. In other words, I'm going to process my transactions from this into the set of accounts. Here I can already see that there was a receipt, and it says, well, actually, this receipt matches this particular invoice from Ridgeway University. Are you happy with that? And if I click on more details, I can see, yes, it actually did come from Ridgeway University. I simply go, okay, and it marks that transaction as done. It posts it to the customer, and I'm done with that cash book process, with that cash book payment. It's been processed, it's been and it's been allocated against that particular invoice. And that's how easy it is. We do go into more detail in the other course with regards to bank rules, but you can basically set up bank rules that will deal with most of your recurring payments, like let's say installments, payments that don't change. You can set up bank rules for them that will automatically pick them up and also mark them as green. And then you just sit there and you say, well, yes, it's right. Okay, yes, it's right. Okay, okay, okay. And once you've done that, you've actually processed your cash book into the set of accounts. Right. Going back to all the features, payables, track and payables on time and get a clear overview of accounts payable and cash flows. So just having a look at that quickly, I'll just pop there so you can see. You can quite easily see your accounts payable. You'll be able to see when you've made payments, how many bills are awaiting approval, how many are awaiting payment, and how many are overdue. And based on that, you could then actually plan your cash flow for the next couple of months. You'll see that sales has exactly the same thing. So if we go to business sales overview, you'll also be able to see when you've got awaiting approval, awaiting payment, and overdue, and you'll also see money coming in. So it gives you a very quick overview of you can become comfortable in your mind. I find that a lot of our clients who are sort of owner-managed businesses, they have a very good feeling about their business. Yes, I know I'm going to get that money in, and I know that's how much I'm going to have to pay out, etc., etc., etc. And then basically, this should be corroborating what the owner feels. So he should know, well, yes, I'm getting this bigger money in that's coming in the future. Right, GST returns. Obviously, this is I think UK based, but it would be VAT returns on our side. It does pull out a detailed VAT report, Xero at the moment. I know that South Africa is working on a functionality that would actually lock VAT returns once they've been submitted. That functionality is available in Pastel, in Sage Pastel, where you basically, once you've done your 2-month VAT report, you would lock that period so that there could be no more adjustments to it. You can do that in Xero. In other words, I can lock the period, but there isn't a functionality. There isn't a tax lock functionality that makes it easy. You are able to do that in Xero, but you need to do it you need to go into the settings and actually lock the period. Payroll. At the moment, we do have payroll. The Xero payroll is not a Namibianized payroll, but there is PaySpace that's available. That is an online payroll system that automatically integrates with Xero. We are working on, I think it's Easy Pay in South Africa. That we are looking at integrating, and obviously what would be very nice would be that possibly Pastel Payroll or VIP Payroll actually wrote an API into the Xero platform. I don't know whether they would do that. Obviously, writing an integration into a competitive software company might not be the best marketing strategy, but you never know. I know that, for example, our practice software, we use GreatSoft. GreatSoft have now written an API interface into Xero. So more and more and more software companies around the world are writing these APIs into online accounting systems, whether they be Xero or Sage 1 or whatever is out there. They definitely are aware that they need to write these APIs because the clients have got specific needs. I must say that very often, before you even go and look online, let's say you've got a customized point of sale or inventory management system, before you go and look online, actually approach the software developers that develop that and ask them if they don't have an API. And if they don't, the process of actually registering with Xero and authorizing your company with Xero is not too difficult. I know there's 1 or 2 people, software developers in town that have done that. Then get them to do that. Get them to write the API for you. It's simple. It's if you do a sale, it's credit sales and debit the debtor. And you know, they can write those kinds of things in there, in summary, obviously. Good. Account payments, accept payments online and get paid up to twice as fast by connecting to Stripe, Go Cardless, and others. I do find that we are light years behind the rest of the world when it comes to that. I know there are things like PayBuddy. I know there's PayPal and there's PayPulse and all of these things, and we just, I don't know. I think PayBuddy is right. I think Vilko Aschenborn, I think he's the owner of that. I think I spoke to him last and he said he was, either they were writing or they had written an integration into it. So on your invoice, on your online invoice with the client, there would have been a little button that says pay with PayBuddy or pay with PayPulse or pay with whatever. If you clicked on there, it would take you to an interface where you put your credit card details in and then it automatically paid. That invoice would then be marked as paid in your books and the transaction would be waiting in the cash book for it to come through the bank account. Once it came through the bank account, you'd simply go, okay, and that transaction would be finished. At the moment, I don't find, I'm not finding it easy to link these payments in Namibia. Maybe if the bank regulations changed a little bit and we were able to use things like PayPal and these other companies who have already written interfaces, it might help us a lot. Okay, bank connections, I think we've already discussed that. At the moment, Nedbank and I think Bank Vintage are the most promising aspects of, and we'll look at that. Hopefully, believe you me, if you're on Xero or you're considering to go into Xero, that kind of announcement would most probably be big in the press. And we'll definitely keep all of our course attendees and clients of BDO notified if something like that happened. Reporting is something we're going to deal with in detail today. Capturing data, we can quickly look into that, but basically capturing of data, you use a software called HubDoc. And I'm just going to go into the interface. I'm not going to link it to this demo company. But HubDoc, previously Receipt Bank, no, sorry, not previously Receipt Bank. HubDoc is a software all on its own, but it is similar to Receipt Bank, or what we now call Dext, I think is what they changed their name to. So basically what you could do there is you could take a picture of your slip, or alternatively you can email your PDF invoices directly to HubDoc, where HubDoc will use intelligence and OCR, optical character recognition, to read these invoices and then make suggestions as to where it should be posted. So for example, if you have motor vehicle repairs, it will actually pick that up and say, well, you've got a motor vehicle repairs expense, a general ledger account. Do you want to post it here? And oh, by the way, we've read everything in. We've read the invoice number, the date, the supplier name, everything in. And all you have to do is go, okay. It then sends that through to your account, to the Xero accounting system, where it waits for approval. The minute it's approved, you can then pay it, but that image is now always linked to that particular transaction. So you don't need to go flipping through a file. You can simply click on the transaction and then it will show you the image. So that kind of functionality is absolutely priceless. And I must say, from an auditing and perspective, this is adding a whole new layer onto how we approach our clients. So what we can do, for example, with HubDoc is, let's say you've got 3 months worth of invoices that are outstanding. I can take those 3 months of invoices, I can pop them into my photocopier machine that can scan them all into one bulk PDF, and then hand it over to HubDoc or Dext, and it will slowly go through and sort those things out for us, and we'll have all the original documents attached to it so we can discuss those with the clients. So really unique. A lot of my clients are using it at the moment. I use it personally. I used to be a hoarder of slips. I now don't hoard slips. I simply take a picture of it, sometimes in Woman and Brock. It's then in my accounting system. I can throw that piece of paper away. And when the payment comes to my bank account, it automatically picks up Woman and Brock, marks it as green, and I go, okay. From a receiver of revenue point of view, not to get into too much detail again, because we did this in the previous course, from a receiver of revenue point of view, they still do not accept PDF as a valid document. I think they are changing with ITAS and all the rest of it. So they still require you to print it out, but it certainly makes your life a lot easier, because sometimes, very often, you can just print the transaction from there. I know in places like South Africa, Australia, where I think they're linking Xero directly with the receiver of revenue. The receiver of revenue just automatically can get, you give them access into your books, they can come in, do their VAT audits, and then simply say, yes, you've passed your VAT audit, and you can then kick them out of your company. So I don't know how far we are from there at the moment. I'm definitely not going to, I don't know what the trust level is at the moment between ITAS and the market, but I don't see why that can't be a future goal. Right, claim expenses, obviously. You can load certain expense claim software onto there. You simply take a picture. It ends up in the loan account of your director. That's the be all and end all of that one. Quotes, you can do quotes. I have talked about that before, just to show you the quote interface. If you went back, let me go back to my dashboard demo. Go into the business quotes, you'll be able to see how it controls quotes. So you can see you've got all draft sent, declined, accepted, and invoice. So you've got quite good control there, and it's all automated. Right, track projects. Projects is brilliant. You can add projects as an added cost onto Xero. It's like an extra $2 per user or something like that. It's absolutely brilliant way of tracking projects and just controlling the projects. Obviously, there's a files section in Xero, so you do have an online sort of library of a file section where you can actually save a lot of important documentation like CC documents, maybe good standing certificates from the receiver of revenue, etc., etc. There's the file section. You obviously have inventory, basic inventory built into the program. For an extra fee, you can add in multi-currency. And what's brilliant about the multi-currency is that it recognizes the transactions and will work out will basically automatically work out the forex gains or losses realized on a particular transaction. Purchase orders, you've also got control over. You can manage your contacts. Xero does throw the concept of a customer and a supplier away and says, well, even though it does have customers and suppliers, it likes to think of your customers and suppliers more as contacts. So you'll see that in any particular instance, for example, Bayside Club here has got you owe them and they owe you. So this is a contact. It's both a customer and a supplier. Now, in a lot of accounting packages, you sort of have to split that. You have to say, well, my customers are these and my suppliers are these. But in a new modern world, I'm selling and I'm the customer of my suppliers, you know, so I'm selling to the places that I'm buying from. So why not have it that way? And if you go to Bayside Club, for example, and you have a look here, you see one invoice awaiting payment, but one bill is awaiting payment too. And so I can see who owes who, where, when, and what. So it certainly throws that concept away. And I think it's one of the concepts that clients are having difficulty with. But once you accept it and move on, it tends to work pretty well. Analytics is the last one, where you can see future cash flows, check financial health, and track metrics. We're going to have a look at that in the detailed section. Great. So that's just a very, very, very quick overview of Xero. As I said, we're not getting into too many of the features at this point. I want to deal with the next point, which is going to be customizing your experience, and we're going to do a demonstration on that. And then we're also going to do sort of a demonstration on reporting. And I'm going to show you some of the reporting, what you can actually do with it. And then, as I said, we'll do an update on pricing. Nicole, have you worked a break session into this training? If everyone shows me thumbs up, then I'm willing to continue until 4 o'clock this afternoon talking about Xero, but I don't know. What if you have you ordered a break?
A 2-hour session we usually don't do breaks in, but if anyone wants to have a break, we can have a break.
No, then we can carry on. Good, great. Okay, so carrying on with our session, then let's look at customizing your experience. And for this, I'm going to actually be looking at our demo company. So this is the interface that you would very similarly have when you logged into Xero. And when you first log into Xero, you will always have these little pop-up kind of videos. You will always have links to help functions. So if I just use this one quickly, this is our dashboard, and on our dashboard I can quickly customize a view that will tell me this is what you want to see. You know, this is what you want to see when you log in. And I'm going to quickly play the video just so you can actually see the kinds of customization. So let's play that video.
With so much going on in your business, wouldn't it be great to see how it's performing at a glance? The Xero Dashboard puts the most important information right where you need it. Keep a watchful eye on key business performance indicators. Review your monthly trends so you can stay on top of cash flow. Use the dashboard to display the income and expense accounts you want to monitor. Follow your bank activity, check your balances, and just click Reconcile to start taking care of the day's transactions. Hover over to see how much money you're expecting to receive and review what you owe to your suppliers. You can also manage all your expense claims and receipts that you've captured on the go. The dashboard is extremely powerful. Organize it to suit your business. Just drag and drop to show the numbers you want. The Xero Dashboard, all the numbers you need for a healthy, growing business.
Okay, so I mean, once I've watched this video and I know what I do, I can actually just hide that video away. And it is as simple as what they've just said. So I can customize my views exactly the way that you want to, simply by going to Edit Dashboard, and I can say, well, I don't want to see expense claims or bills you need to pay. All I'm really interested in maybe is I don't want to see that business savings account. I only want to look at the business bank account. I'd like to add my account watch list in and my cash in and cash out. So I can hide all of those, save my charges, I'll then just have that available to me. So, and these are then quick references into those particular modules. So if I clicked on in and out, total cash in and out, and I clicked on that, it will then give me insights into what that cash was in: opening balances, cash received, cash spent, and closing balances. Okay, so and obviously that is saved per user. So this gives me a lot of control over what I really want to watch. Also, you can add accounts to this account watch list, which is quite nice. And you can also add budgets to account categories, use budgets to track your spending against your goals. You could even add that functionality in there. Okay. There is a show budgets column there if you really wanted to turn that toggle on, but at this particular point, we're not going to do that. You'll see that if a widget does not have any further functionality on it, it won't have these three little dots over here. Right. As for customizing the other aspects of Xero, you'll notice that our dashboards our dashboard doesn't actually have a drop-down menu list, and our business and accounting menus are relatively set in stone because they're dealing with things like analytics, your invoices, so your customers, your suppliers, and then, for example, your expense claims, your products and services, your payroll and your checks. Please note that one advantage that Xero has is also a fixed asset module. So if I click on the fixed asset module, it will actually open a completely separate module that would basically be able to, where you'd be able to control your fixed assets. And if you process, for example, anything to a fixed asset account, in other words, where the nature of the account was set to fixed asset, when you process that, it will tell you, listen, I know you're processing this to fixed asset. I'm creating a draft asset for this. So when you come in, you'll have all of your transactions that you process to fixed assets accounts sitting here waiting for you to enter in the details and accept it as an asset. So also something to look into, fixed asset module built into Xero. Right, the business menu, as I said, is very sort of set. I've asked Xero to actually remove this pay run button from Xero because they don't actually maybe in payroll. Rather, I would like that button to either be a link to one of the companies that does support us, for example, PaySpace. Our accounting menu, here you will notice that you've got starred report. So if I went into my reports, I would actually be able to start reports that I would like to see. So you'll see that those are my favorites, and I've now removed actually all my favorite reports. So if I click on I don't have any favorite reports anymore. But if I'd like to, I can actually add in, I can then determine what my menu is going to be. So let's say I would like to see what let's add one of these things in. Let's add in budget manager. So if I add on my budget manager, becomes a favorite report, and then my budget manager will be over here under reports. Okay. I can also add my budget summary. You can even show your descriptions of your reports so it can give you a better insight into what kinds of reports you're actually printing. So we're going to go into detail in some of these reports, and I'm going to show you the kinds of functionality that you have. But just so you know that you're able to customize your reporting here quite extensively with regards to, you know, what kind of reports you'd like quick access to. Let's just quickly add budget manager back in there, maybe our cash summary. Maybe you want to have cash flow report and maybe an accounts receivable summary. If I go back to my menu, all of those reports have now been added into here. The advanced actually refers to my advanced menu, and here I can also determine what I would like to see on my advanced. For example, my chart of accounts, or my tax rates, or my tracking categories. My tracking categories, just as a little bit of an insight into, you know, what has happened. The account number is not as important in Xero as it is in other accounting systems. And what you can actually do with tracking categories is you can track transactions across 2 layers in your books. So instead of having sub-accounts or departments, you can actually have tracking. And here you can have, for example, region, and then we could add another tracking category, and we could call it, for example, let's call it City, and here we could say Windhoek, Walfish Bay, and maybe Oshakati. Oh, no. Let's say Oshakati. Now, if I add, if I save this, I would have region and city, which means that for every transaction that I actually do now, if I wanted to do a new invoice, I would need to choose, and I'm just going to go here. Let's just add me in as a customer. If here you'll see that I can choose region, south, and city would be, say, well, Windhoek. Okay, so now this transaction has been tracked in a region in the south and then city in Windhoek, and that would apply for all of the transactions that you have. So you can now print a trial balance that says, please give me a trial balance of just the south transactions, or a trial balance of just Windhoek's, or a trial balance of South Windhoek. Okay, so it gives you those 2 layers, and you can add up to 100 different subcategories in each layer. Gives you very good reporting options that can assist with your whole accounting process. The important one that it also gives you is give me transactions that have gone to neither a region or a city. So you can print out a trial balance and then have a look for completeness. In other words, have I got, are all of my transactions going to a region and are all going to a city? So it can give you some completeness in that. Okay, that was just a side. Oops, that was just a sidebar. Getting back to the customization, obviously, I can customize my reports here. Even further than that, I don't know why I keep on jumping back to that screen. Even further than that, and this is where we will now end up with, I can also go and customize reports. But I don't want to go there just yet. Let's just quickly have a look at projects. If you had the projects module attached, you could do that. And obviously the contacts options. You can add in different groups there. So you can decide, and I don't know if it's going there. Yeah, there we go. So you can actually have a look at the different groups, and you can create your own sort of customized group. So you can create a group called bad payers, right? And you can then add your contacts into a group called bad payers. Okay. Or I'm only paying them next month for your suppliers if you really wanted to. I say throw out the concept of having a customer and a supplier and call them contacts. I have a contact. Whether I owe that money, I owe them money or they owe me money, they are a contact. Okay. There's also all other kinds of features that you can have here, like merge duplicate contacts. So when you do the integration, and let's say you do work for NTC and you're an NTC subscriber, for example, you're able to take that NTC customer and that NTC supplier and merge the two into one NTC contact. One of the things that I didn't mention that I think maybe I should mention is if we go and look at cloudconvert.co.za, there is a company in South Africa that will actually do 2 years of your accounting system, will convert it automatically to a Xero set of accounts for you. They can also convert back to Sage, for example, but they can convert from Sage Pastel Partner or Express, Sage Business Online Accounting, Sage Evolution, QuickBooks Desktop UK, and QuickBooks Online. So they will generally convert 2 years of your data. So you simply send them a backup of your current set of accounts. For free, they will convert 2 years of your data. If you, I think Pastel keeps up to 5 years of your data, definitely Pastel Partner. You can pay, I think it's less than 5,000 Namibian dollars, and they will actually convert all 5 years for you. Okay, so they basically do the conversion, you send them the backup with the admin password, they do the conversion, they set up a default account with all of those transactions in for you, and then invite you back into that set of accounts. So just as quick as that, and you're set up to process in Xero. Generally, at the moment, I think there's quite a backlog, but generally within 48 hours they would have it converted. I know towards the end of last year they were doing conversions for me in hours. So if I sent them a backup in the morning, by the afternoon it was already converted, or by the next morning. Okay, just so that you're aware of it, that you can do it. Also, if you really want to, you can just send a backup, let them convert it, and then if you don't like it, you could just let it expire. So ideal way for you to actually test the program and the product and make sure that you like all of the features. Right, okay, so that was for the customization. There's a lot of places that you can sort of add your own features into. I know in the file sections too, you can go and you can add new folders. So you can call it, for example, tax, documents, right, and you can save that. And then you can save all of your tax documents in here. I think the only important thing to remember here is that everyone has access to this particular file savings place. So please don't go and save personal information or sensitive information into a general filing area. Under settings, we've also got the ability to change your invoices and to customize your invoices. And here you can have various branding themes. So let's say, for example, you've got a couple of businesses on one, you are trading as 4 different businesses, but you've got the same VAT number and everything, but you'd like to have, for example, a different sequence of invoice numbering and a different maybe logo. You can actually, well, I don't think you can have a different set of invoice numbering because they're all one set. But let's say you wanted to have some customizations. You could actually then go and set these up. And they make it very, 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 very simple for you. So let's say, for example, I'm in my invoice that I did a little bit earlier. I don't know. Let's say I go to my little draft invoice that I had here. I could actually then choose what theme I wanted. So here, branding, I can choose what I want: standard, special projects, or very orange invoice. And I can then choose which project it belongs to and customize that invoice to that specific business area. And if I previewed it, my special area, if I then go and preview my invoice, it'll show me the orange there. And I can preview how it would appear on the computer, or alternatively, how it would appear on their phone if they received it by phone. Okay, so quite easy to do. The nice thing about it is that the customizations are literally at your fingertips. So whereas previously you might have needed to get a consultant in, not with Xero, because Xero empowers the user. So if I went to my invoice settings, I could simply go, and if I say I'd like to do my own template, right, which was the very orange invoice, I can say, please download for me the template file. So they click on unzip the file, and then it'll come up with my very orange invoices. And here it shows me, like, for example, my orange invoice 4. I can open that, and it will present the invoice in a formatted Word document, which I can then go and customize. I can change it. I can add columns. I can delete columns. I can move my logo around. And once I've done all of that, I simply save it, and I can upload that invoice into my accounting system. So it really sort of empowers you to do this. And most of the training is also oriented towards that. Okay. It feels to me like my Word has not opened, but I wanted to sort of kind of show you. It could be that my Word has given up. Yeah, okay. But let me try that again. Oh, let's just the credit note. I might have messed that other one up. Give me a moment. Oh, they just come in. Yeah, so just to show you an example, that's what it would look like. And these are basically, I don't know if you've ever used this, but these are basically merge fields where it's merging the information from it. But you can go in, you can then say, no, I actually want that to be Brauhaus or Bauhaus, and I want it to be font 8. Okay, and then it will go and change that invoice. And then I can simply save that and then upload that invoice back into my Xero accounting. So customization, incredibly easy. I will say that because I don't need to do anything else. Okay, so when I upload, it'll ask me what would I like to upload, and I can say, well, I'd like to upload the new invoice. I can then simply browse to that folder and go and upload that invoice. Customization done. Right, okay. Having said that, I think what I'm trying to illustrate to you guys is how simple and easy and it is to customize your experience with the program. But Xero is designed really for non-accountants. As I said, I've given access to non-accountants, and they've actually been quite able to import, for example, their bank statements. So if I go to the dashboard and you want to import your bank statements, for example, you would simply go to dashboard, you'd click on there, and you'd go to import a bank statement, for example. And here it will tell you file formats you can import. So you could say CSV. If you click on the CSV help, it will tell you exactly how to do it. But you can also download the CSV template. So if you click and you download the CSV template, it downloads the document for you. Once you've opened that document, you can see exactly which information you needed. And you can do the same for the importing of invoices, the importing of customers, suppliers, inventory, sales prices. So yeah, it tells you if the import, I need date and amount have to be there, but all the other columns are insignificant. I can simply then go and put my information in there, for example, and then it would be done. Okay, but that gives you sort of an indication of how easy it is to import and customize this program for yourself. Okay, right. Okay, so I don't know if there's any questions at this point. I don't know if we should just have a 3-minute question series. Does anyone have any questions at this point before we start with the reporting? I'm going to open up the chat. Okay, good morning. Okay, I see we've got well, Grant. I'm just going through the conversation. Grant, is Xero a better accounting program software than Pastel? I'm gonna absolutely no comment on that. It all depends on your specific needs. I'm not going to diss one accounting program for another. I know that Pastel has Sage 1. We've chosen to go Xero. I know a couple of clients have chosen to go Sage 1. You're more than welcome to. I think the pricing module, the pricing modules become quite complicated. I found with Sage 1, Xero, it's quite simple. It's $32 per month per company, unlimited users. So, I don't want to say that one accounting program is better than the other. I would rather say you need to have a look at your specific needs. What I do say is that Xero definitely can deal with all your accounting needs. Okay, I've missed a whole bunch of. Sort of make. I would like to take a with video. Okay, now that's a good one. Okay, Okay, Grant, on yours, did I miss, but where do you enter journals? Okay, well, let me just quickly deal with that one. You can enter journals if you go to accounting, manual journal. So there is a manual journal available where you can then do your normal journals. If you're not seeing it, it most probably means that you don't have the correct access rights for it. Okay, so I think I'm answering Abashia Muton. But yes, if you do not see the journals, then, and you can do these that they are recurring journals, you can do them that they auto-reverse the next day. So, for example, your accrual journals at year-end for your auditors. But it would be accounting. If it's not on your advanced menu here, then you need to go to advanced, and then you will see manual journals there, and you just need to start it. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Are the add-ons free or do you pay extra for them, Rosanne? We'll deal with that costing. At the moment, what Xero gives you is, well, we could just as well deal with the costing right now. Hey, so let's just go and deal with the costing. That's the pricing for Xero. The starter pack is $22 per month, and you basically get that included in it. So send quotes and 20 invoices, enter 5 bills, reconcile, capture bills and receipts with HubDoc. So your HubDoc subscription is for free, but the inventory, the fixed assets and everything is included in Xero. Short-term cash flow and business snapshot. What's not included is bulk reconcile transactions and use multiple currencies. The standard module, which is the most popular one, is all of that except multi-currency, and the premium is everything, including multi-currency. Then optional add-ons, your claim expenses, you can add on for $4 per month, so it'd be then 26. Tracking projects from $7 per month, and analytics also from $7. So you can sort of build your module up like that. So that is the latest pricing. This used to be 20, 30, and 40. For the first time, as I said, in 3 years, they've actually improved it. Like claiming expenses, you must really sort of have a look before you go and add module on. There is something called Expensify, I think it is, that you can buy. That's almost the same price. That, you know, it basically for your directors, you'll or people that are traveling. They get to the garage, they fill in fuel, they take a picture of the fuel, then it asks them one of two questions: business or personal. And if they say personal, it puts it to their personal loan account. If it says business, it puts it to vehicle expenses. So, you know, do some shopping before you go and accept those additional add-ons on there. Okay. I'm looking at Ultimate Safaris. I just want to make sure I didn't Xero better than Taskforce did. I missed this one, but read you enter journals under Xero. Okay. Ultimate Safaris. How does it deal with invoices that need to be split between different cost centers? Well, it would deal. You would definitely, first of all, you would go and add in your different tracking categories. So that would be your cost centers, basically. So that would be point number one, would be to add in your different categories or cost centers here, region, city, whatever. And then when you're actually doing invoice, I'll go to invoice for you. Let's go to the draft invoice. And take invoice. So let's say, for example, I wanted to edit this invoice. I could simply say, well, this is one part of it. It must go to region, let's say South, and that should go to Oshakart. No, that's wrong, because Oshakart is not in the South. We'll say Windhoek. Okay. If I want to, then I could simply add another line, and I could say, well, allocation. I'm not using an inventory item line. I'm just going to say allocation to cost center, and I'd simply put in there one. Let's say 550. Also to sales, but we call this North and Oshakati. Okay, so that your total invoice added up to 1,100, but now it would be allocated to two different cost centers, South and North. I hope that that answers your question. Let's see. Great. I hope that answers your question, Ultimate Safaris. I hate calling you that, but that's what the name that's presented. Okay. Good. So yes, you absolutely can. You'd have to do it line by line by line if you had more than 3 cost centers. I don't know who's on hold there, but TS is on hold. Good. Okay, so getting to the last sort of part of the session, I'm going to be dealing with, in particular, let me just get to it. We're going to be dealing with our reporting. And I sort of want to explain how your accountant and you sort of collaborate together, and how your accountant can add this value to you that maybe you are not, or you weren't aware of when it came to other accounting programs. So traditionally, what would happen is you'd be processing furiously away at your accounting, your set of accounts. Every now and again, you might have a hiccup. You would call the accountants in, they'd fix it, or your consultants for your particular accounting package. That no longer needs to happen, because all we need to do is, well, we can actually monitor your situation as and when it happens. So I'm going to give you an insight into what our client headquarters looks like. But this would be our client headquarters, and without trying to, so I just need to get that help function away there. Just take it away. How do I take it away? Go away. Go away. Let me just refresh the page. Right, so I've got an insight into all my clients here, and I can go to their Xero set of accounts the minute I want to. But also, what I can do is I can actually create, and this is something that we've done. I can actually go and create reports here that would be available to all of my clients. So I've got the capacity to actually go, and we have done one or two of these, to go and create reports that I, as an accountant, can share with, for example, all of my clients. So these reports that are available in my Xero headquarters, I'm able to actually transfer when I'm in reporting in all of my clients. You will see that I have the ability to access my headquarter reports while I, as the advisor, am logged into a particular client. So there are the three reports that are available here. And I can obviously add new reports in. So I can add in a new template, and I can go and create, we've done quite a few of them. For example, a fixed asset register, we've added in here. So as your advisor, I'm able to now go in and access my BDO financial reporting for SMEs on my global. And when I pull this out, I actually have a set of financial statements that are now pulling directly from your set of accounts without me having to say, oh, please send me a backup, and then restoring the backup. And then I say, oh, wait, we're on a different version. And then we have to do the different version thingies, or we have to import. I can actually now log in as your advisor onto your set of accounts, and I have available to me my entire set of financial statements. And then I can print them. So I'm on the demo, but if I go publish, for example, I'm going to publish this report to you. I'm actually given all of the features that are associated with me as your advisor. So I can go and, for example, it'll add my logo in, it'll add my contents page in, and I can actually print these reports to you in moments if I'm happy with your set of accounts. Right, I don't want to actually publish the report just yet, but I just wanted to show you that that is how the collaboration between your accountants in the well, us as your accountants and you would work. So a lot of my staff say to me, but Warren, we're going to lose money because we're getting the clients to process work, and now so the clients are processing the work, so we're going to lose fees. And I said, well, that's okay, because those are the kind of fees we don't really want. And those are the kinds of fees that clients don't really want to pay either. The client wants to pay for a fee where we are acting as their advisor, not as their accountant or their processor. A processor, you can get anyone to process the data, and if you empower the client to process their own data, then you can act more as their advisor. So you can rather talk to them about cash flows and applying to the bank and getting things correct for the receiver of revenue, reallocations of accounts, transactions, etc., etc. You could be more their advisor than their processor, which is what we don't want to be. So yes, we will lose, in essence, processing revenue. But did we ever really want that? And did the client ever really want to pay that? If I can do the invoice on the fly easily, if I can simply take my phone and take a picture of a supplier invoice and know it's going to go to my accountant, then you, by doing the normal course of business, you're actually creating a set of accounts seamlessly along the way. And your advisors are there to say, oh no, you allocated that to the wrong account, or this is a better way for you to improve this particular process. Okay, so our advisor reports are always here, and we can add them into your reporting. So to get back to the actual reports functionality in Xero, you have various tabs depending on your particular access to Xero. So obviously the Home tab gives you access to all of the reporting, and as I said before, you can actually click on the star or not the star. The custom reporting section is where you can actually take a report and you can customize it. And I'm going to show you how to do that very quickly using the example of the north-south thing. Although I doubt we're going to have any information unless I actually go and, so I'm going to go quickly to the invoice. I'm going to update that one draft invoice so that we've got at least a piece of data in there. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on getting 0, 0, 0. Okay. So if I think it was that one. So let's go into invoice 30 and we'll quickly approve that invoice. Okay, so it's in my invoice, it's in my approved. So theoretically, that invoice is awaiting payment. So it's in my accounting system. If I was in my reporting functionality now, and I say want to print a trial balance. So I'm going to print a trial balance, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to look at my financial statement. No, 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 no. Payables and receivables. No, 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 no. I think it was right in the front. No, no. Account, balance sheet, bank, I'm just not seeing. Don't know why I'm not seeing trial balance here. It'd be catastrophic in the demo. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go and print my trial balance. They on this American demo company, they group things like only the Americans could. Okay, so if I pull out my financial statement, I can see there's my sales, that's my trial balance. Okay, but I want to do a little bit more. So if I click on the more button, or actually on the filter button, I can say, well, actually, I want to print out by just Bintook. And if I apply the filter, then, and I update it, of course, I don't know when I printed that. let's say as of today, because I might have updated that invoice as of today. Yes, I did. Okay, so there's the sale. So there's the information. I could also then say, well, actually, give it to me by washer cart included, and I apply one filter. And if I update that, it will then add those two amounts in for me. But let's say I wanted the report in a slightly different format. I could theoretically go and insert, well, I'm going to show you now. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to clear this filter. Right, so in this particular instance, I've got my trial balance. There's nothing very much that we can do here. We can insert a text block and a footer onto this particular trial balance. And I can actually also save it as a custom report. So let's say, for example, I took the filters and I said, well, I just want to have Windhoek by all regions, right? So I say Windhoek by, well, we just say select all regions and we apply. And if I update that, I've got this trial balance. Let's say I wanted to keep it that way with that particular filter, then I could say save as a customized report, and we can call it trial balance Windhoek, right? And if I save it, and I clear this filter, for example, and I update this. So this should be my normal trial balance now. Oops, sorry, seems to be. So that's my normal trial balance. But instead of having to go into the filter and filter it all now, I could also simply go to reports now. And because I've made those significant changes, I could actually go to custom and I would now have a trial balance Windhoek. I could simply click on it and it should only customize it for that particular transaction. So I can now have these customized reports, and obviously this can be done per user, or you could add these into all of your users. And you can create various reports that way. For example, I can also, I want to get back to my reporting. And I'll answer all questions if there are when we get to the end of the section. Right, so if I went back and I said to, let's say, for example, I have a profit and loss, and you'll see on some of the reporting, let's go to our financial reporting. Let's look at the profit and loss. So you'll see that on the profit and loss report that there's an extra field here because this is a more customizable report. So what I can do here to this report is I could actually add a lot more into it. So I can say, for example, let's say I don't like the way it says trading income there. I could go into edit layout and I could call it something else. So I can go in and I can say, well, you know, I actually want it to be called total sales, and I want it to all be in caps, right? And it will now change it to total sales. I want it to not be called profit and loss. I would like it to be called the income statement. And let's see what else I want to do. So I can now sit here and customize this report. I can also say, well, I want interest to be below other revenue, and I want bank fees to be above advertising. And oh, I'd like, let's say, legal, interest and insurance. I want to group them actually into, let's just call it other expenses. Right, and I either want to show it detailed like that, or I can also summarize them. In other words, there'll just be other expenses and they'll be grouped together and they won't show on my income statement, or I can make them show individually under a little heading called other expenses. I'm going to leave it like that for purposes of that. I could also say, well, you know what I want to do is I'd like to add in another column. So let's add in another column. And I can now say, what column would you like to add in? And because I'm in a set of accounts that has city and region, I can now add a city column in. And I can say that city must please be Windhoek. And you see, I'm now going to leave it for the moment and show you how we could customize our own reporting. Okay, so now suddenly this is my income statement. I've now customized it. You'll see we don't have any legal, we've got other, it could be that there's also no expenditure in those accounts, but you would actually see the other one here if there was. So if I'm happy with this particular format, I can then go say, save as custom, and I could say profit and loss, all cities, separate. Okay. And I can then save that. And if I go into my reporting, I will now also have that report available to me as a custom report. Okay. And you can also star it, and you can, in other words, you know, that report will now be here. So there's trial balance Windhoek, so I can have it on my menu. So there's a lot of ways for you to actually sort of customize your reporting to best suit your particular needs. And you can go into a lot of detail. I did it currently for a client where their trial balance was summarized by their accountants over and over and over and over and over again. You know, 7-page trial balance was summarized into a 2-page income statement. And I went there and we went account by account and we created these summarizers of them. So I can either print them in detail or not in detail. So I didn't have to impact how the accountant process or the client processes, but I can now pull the reports out as the auditors want them, and consistently, because we agreed to the prior year closing balances. So we know that we were correct there, and hence the comparative figures this year would also be nice. And the nice thing is that I can invite the auditors as read-only into the set of accounts and then publish those reports to them. Okay, but to get back to that, you know now how to customize, obviously, your reporting. I want to go home to reporting. So we've got our home functionality, which gives us all of our reporting. We've got our custom, which is your sort of custom in the client. Depending on your access level, you would have advisors. So generally, the client will not see these advisors report. Why? Because it's our intellectual property. So in other words, if you want a BDO financial statement report, or you'd like a whatever, you can either create it yourself, which you're more than welcome to do. Otherwise, we can log in and we will see our set of financial statements. Then you've obviously got sort of draft reports where you can save the report as draft. So, for example, if you're in any particular report, let's call it trial balance Windhoek. You can also save it as a draft report, or you can save it as a custom, or alternatively, you can publish the report. And I'll show you what publishing the report means in a moment. So if you were working on the report, you could save it as a draft and then come back to it and save it as a custom or a published report. Please note that if you are in this custom folder, sorry, if you are in your, if I go and print out the trial balance again, let's go and print out that, it was a trial balance, hey. If I go and print that trial balance again from my main menu, what does it print for me? It prints the default one. So it will always print the default. The reports will always go back to default. However, let's just pull that the profit and loss out. So the profit and loss will also go back to default. So it's important for you to, when you're editing the layout, to, if you want to save it, always to go as save as, and then save it as. And there's a little bit of a trick to it, because if you go into, for example, your saved reports and you make changes, you must also save as those changes. So always in your custom, if I had to go and make changes to profit and loss cities separate, then if I edited the layout and I added in, let's say, another column, I would need to ensure that I saved it as custom again, but as maybe version 2, or all cities including or Shakati, or something like that. If I don't, and I come back to this report, then it would have reverted back to this version of the report. So every time you edit your layout, you need to always save it as, and then go and make it version 2 or version 3 or version 4. You can always come in later and then clear out, delete the report, or alternatively rename the report if you needed to. But every time you make changes on a report, you need to always remember to save as. Okay, so the advisor is only really available to advisor. You can save reports in drafts, and then obviously you can, if you can archive reports. I'm jumping past this published reports because I want to show you the functionality that's there. But obviously you could archive reports, which means that the report should no longer be available. But let's say, for example, you did phone the client, you did phone the auditors, and then you said to the auditors, I need a set of management accounts. We do also have a set of management accounts that we're busy developing, but I need a video financial statement reporting. Okay, and we quickly have a look through your books online. I'm happy. I don't your bank recon balances. I filled in all of these completed fields, assume that I have, and I'm now happy. What do? I can now save that version as a draft, or alternatively, what I can do is I can now publish this report. I'm happy with the report, and I click on publish, and I then say, yes, I want the general, that's those are the pages I want the default style, and we can put let's put a draft through there, and I go save. So now that I've saved the report, it's going to throw out all sorts of errors. Won't throw out errors, but you'll see that that advisor report is now saved as a published report. Okay, so I've actually now published this report, and that report now is in actual fact not editable. So it's like a finalized report. Okay, and if I click on that report, you'll see that the functionality that comes out of it is different. So all I can do is I can delete the report, copy and edit. I can export it, but I can only export it into Google Sheets, Excel, or PDF. So this is now sort of like a finalized report for me. And I just want to show you, if I say print it as a PDF, and I click the document, then it'll actually come out like a set of financial statements. So there's my draft report with my contents, with my general information. So so you'll see that you know, it's ready for signature by the client, etc. So I can have your set of financial statements out, all your management reports, or any other reports that we decide to design for you, we can actually have out quite quickly and quite easily. And what then will happen is, obviously, if you're looking at your published reports, you can then also archive them. And if you archive them, they go into the archive. And you can also then further deliver them. So you can theoretically, on a view-only menu, give your bank manager access to just go and view reports, which is a revolutionary thought, but I am trying to change the way that accountants think about that, because I think that banks actually would prefer to have management reports on a quarterly basis than a set of shined up financial statement reports at the end of the year. I have to test that theory, but that's my personal theory, but maybe that is the case. Because I think that a bank manager will be able to see much quickly if you had a managed set of accounts quite quickly that, oh, wait, you're running into problems way before you actually hit problems. So I have asked that of my bank manager, and he was sort of like a little, you know, confused as to why I was asking that. But I said to him, you know, would you prefer to have quarterly management reports as opposed to an annual set of financial statements that's been souped up to make it look all good for you banks? And he said, you know, well, in that instance, it would be better for him to receive management reports because he'd be able to see what the sales were, what the cost of, you know, whether it's making a profit. So we need to change the way that we're thinking there, but that would essentially be it. So you would give that client, you would give your bank manager, in essence, and I'm just going to, I don't actually think I can add a user into this company. No, I'm not allowed to. But yeah, you would give the bank manager only access to view reports. Right. Okay. There are other reports that have been added in. Analytics, short-term cash flow. Obviously, if you've got information in your set of accounts, the demo doesn't have that much in, but you can quickly look at analytics on a particular bank account for the next 30 days or 7 days, and it will give you some analytics. This is actually sort of like a preview to analytics, buying analytics, and you saw it there in that add-on module. So it's sort of looking at total invoices owed to you, total bills paid, projected end balance of the bank account in a couple of months, looking at, you know, what is promised to come in and what is promised to pay. So when you do an invoice, it says, you know, invoice due date is 7 days from today. Using that 7 days, it will then predict whether or not the money should be coming in on any particular day. And using your bills, it will say, well, you said you're going to pay the bill on that day. I'm going to deduct it on that day. And then it can actually sort of project like you know, where your bank account would be 21st of March. You can actually highlight the weeks there, and then you can actually go and see what it's used to highlight that particular week, one incoming transaction. So it can be quite a useful tool. And then the other one that they've got here is the business snapshot. And using the business snapshot, you can have a look at a period. Now, it also has limitations on the amount on the amount unless you buy the full version, but this is the watered down version of it. But average time to pay suppliers 465, average time to get paid 25 days, overall cash balance, financial position, what your assets and your liabilities are. So it's sort of like a little report card of your business at any particular day. And you can use that report card to send to the bank. I don't think that, I think this concept of inviting the bank and the receiver of revenue, the auditors, I mean, I think everyone would be very comfortable with inviting their accountant and their auditors into their set of accounts. However, bank managers and the receiver of revenue, I think it takes some trust building and relationship building and a boundary setting before we actually get to that kind of interaction. But I know that in certain countries that is where they're going. So that's just a very quick, short insight. I certainly hope that you guys enjoy that. I'm going to go into question and answer section now. This is just some of the functionality of Xero. I could, as I said, when I started off, we could be here till 4 o'clock and I still wouldn't have finished explaining everything that needed to be explained. But let's see if there's any questions on the group. Okay, I don't know if am I behind? Are there any questions with regards to reporting, or alternatively, I'll throw it out. Are there any other questions that someone would like to ask about anything about Xero? And you're more than welcome to pop your mic on. We'll test the technology and chat with me.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I want to buy Xero online.
Yes.
Do I choose the South Africa as the country?
No, you have to choose Namibia.
But they don't have on the website, or am I at the wrong place?
You might be. Generally, when are you trying to where are you in the registration process?
I want to buy it online, but yeah. I'm not sure which country will have or which version, or they ask you because they show the US dollars and then they have like the different countries, and I only saw South Africa.
I think you might be at the payment portal as opposed to the actual company. The payment portal is only South African, but it would be so Xero is receiving receipts from South Africa, and South Africa's pricing is currently in US dollar.
Okay.
So they are looking at it. They are looking at a South African pricing module, which would then mean for us a lot more stable price. Yeah. Although the US dollar is stable, but yeah, it should be. I think you're way ahead of where you actually get to sort of the country, choosing the country of your or you're not at the point where you can choose the country of your company. Okay. But it is important that you choose the right country when it comes to setting up your company, because there it will say Namibian dollars. If you choose South African rand, and you start scanning in receipts of Women and Brock in Namibian dollars, then it's going to say to you, oh, these are foreign currency transactions, because it sees a Namibian dollar and a South African rand as two separate, even though they're 1-to-1.
Okay.
And then you have to register for the foreign currency version, which is more expensive.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll check. If
you battle, then